Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to start a new topic on HTML. As I know there are lots of delay in my video, but for now all the videos comes every Sunday. So basically I have a lot of requests from the user. They want to learn everything from scratch about the full stack development. So my first tutorial is start with HTML. Later I work with CSS and JavaScript and other tutorial. So let's get started and work on this tutorial. So in this tutorial I cover how you can create a blank HTML page. Later I can cover the how you can add some content and images in your web page. Then I cover how you can create a form with HTML in your web page. Later I will cover how you can create a list of items in your web pages. Then I will cover how you can create a div tag and span tag and what are the difference between div and span tag. Then I will show you how you can create a table tag with buttons, and also I will show you how you can create a link, and also I will give you a simple example of how you can create a live website page with using HTML structure with HTML structure. So let's get started and let's see how you can work with this tutorial. So first you need to install VS Code. So downloading the VS Code, download VS Code for Windows, or you can use your own operating system version to download the VS Code. So here I can just download the VS Code for the Windows version, but now I already have VS Code, so I will not download it. Now here my VS Code is open. So first let's create a folder to add this folder in our VS Code. So opening File Explorer and moving to the directory. So I am just moving to desktop and creating a directory for projects and giving the project name. Now giving the project name is HTML. Create it. Now let's open this folder in our VS Code. So simply click on open folder, go to desktop and select your projects and HTML. Select folder. Click on trust. Now after that, here my project is open. So what is HTML? Basically HTML is a language for creating a web page. So almost every website which we can see in internet, all are made using HTML. So HTML is the only way to create a website. Now let's see some examples of websites. So first I am going to a simple website which is Flipkart. If you see this website, it is completely created on HTML. If you see this page source code, by typing Ctrl U, and you can see the source code of the page of the HTML. It contains tags and everything. So almost every website which created on HTML, they just contain the tags, the script, and other things. So there are different ways and different types of tags to creating a website. Suppose that they are p tag, script tag, and other tags. So it depends on us what we can use to write our codes. So let's see what is the simple way. First closing this page and let's create our simple page. So back to VS Code and here creating our simple file. So click on new file, selecting text file, selecting the language, giving the file name HTML. Save this file, but first writing this content HTML. Save this file by giving first HTML.html. So .html is extension. Save it. So our file is saved. Now let's see. So every time when you start coding in HTML, it first start with opening tag and closing tag. But there are some tag which don't need to add a closing tag. It will come with a single line tag or called single tag. So every time when you start writing the code of HTML, it first start with HTML tag opening and closing. Let's see example of website. Suppose that I visit google.com. If you see this website, it first start with HTML tag. You can see HTML tag and close with HTML tag. if you check the end of the page, you can find it's closed with HTML tag. So HTML tag is a complete website code. Inside this, there is a head section which is called head section. This is one is head section. It contains title and other meta tags which we can write to for Google search optimization or SEO. And these are the body tag. This comes in body tag. So let's see. Here I'm just adding head tag, and inside this I am just writing a title tag. So it will show our title in tab of the browser window. So my first web page, save it, and if you check, so for this you need to run this file. So you can run this file by using to your file explorer, move to folder, right click on the file, click on open with, and select Google Chrome. And you can see our page is running, but there is no content, the page is empty. But you can see one more thing here. What I add title, you can see here my first web page, you can see in title bar. So this is called title bar or title of the page. So you need to write this inside the head tag. After this title bar, let's see other things. After this head part and title and HTML, now let's move to the body section. So just close this page or copy this content, close it, creating one more file for second example. Second, body.html, save it. Now adding the body tag, closing the body tag. Now here I'm just writing something on the page. My first web page, body content, save it, back to Chrome, refresh page. Okay, change the file name. So here second body.html, and you can see the content on your web page. So in this way you can create a simple web page by adding the title and the body, and you can see the content which is written in body, it is showing on the body. So this section complete is the body part of the web page. Now again back to VS Code, and let's work on next example. Now let's see some more example. So just I am adding a paragraph tag in our page. So suppose that if we want to add some content in your page, you can use p tag to write a paragraph in your web page. Like I am writing my first paragraph tag in web page. Save it, and let's check. Back to Chrome, refresh page, and you can see my first paragraph tag in web page. Also there is some other tags which we need to use, like div tag. So div is a popular tag. Every time when we create a website, we need to use a div tag as a container. So here inside div I am also again adding a paragraph tag and adding this content like my first p tag inside div tag. Save it, refresh page, and you can see the p tag inside the div tag. So here this concept is known as nested element. This one is nested element. The div is a parent element and p is a child element. So everything when you're working with programming, there is concept like parent child concept. So here in HTML, here div tag is a parent tag and p tag is a child tag. Now let's see some more example, like how you can add an image in your web page. So for adding the image, you just need to add image src equal to path of image, then close the tag. Now how you can add the path? So you can use two ways, directly by adding the file path here or by URL of the image. Let's see both example, but for now let's use a random image. So sample images URL. So here if you see this website, it gives us sample images. So what I can do, just copy this URL and paste it here. Copy it, paste it here. Save it, back to Chrome, refresh page, and you can see I can see the images every time when I refresh the page. So it is coming from this website, which is Laravel XM. It gives us random image for our website for testing, and you can see the images. Again, if you want to add more images, save it, refresh page. Now here you can see the both images coming side by side. So how you can break it? So for this you need to use a BR tag to break the line. Refresh page. Now you can see both image coming in one by one. Refresh page. You can see first image and second image. So you can use BR tag to break the line. After that, let's see a local example how you can add your local file instead of using the URLs. So just do one thing, opening the site, save these images. So I'm going to save the image by like image 1. Let's copy this file and paste it here, creating the folder image, paste it. After that, back to VS Code, and here you can see image folder and inside this image file. So let's see how you can add the local file also instead of using web file. So image src equal to, first giving the path which is image, then inside image1.jpg. Make sure your file does not have any spaces or any special character. Make sure you try to use only the file name with starting with characters, ending with numbers or anything, and it contains only underscore in a special character or hyphen. Generally I use this concept, adding only underscore or hyphen instead of using space. Here you can see I didn't use any space. Sometimes it is showing error. Save it, back to Chrome, refresh page, and you can see the image which is coming from local. So it is our local image. Let's add some content so understand better. My local image. Save it, refresh page. You can see my local images. So here I need to show one more thing. Here image is a tag. It is a starting tag and BR is also a tag, but src is an attribute. So every time there is some element which had their properties, we known as attributes, and their values. Here same way src is an attribute and their value is an image address. So there are lots of elements which had their attributes with their values. Also, like sometime our image is not loading, we can also add alt tag and title tag like image1 and title equal to image1. Save it, refresh page, and if you take your mouse cursor here in image, you can see it is showing image1 as a hover. So in this way you can add a title to your images. And alt tag is work when your image is not loading. So alt tag will show the text when your image is not loaded yet. That is the advantage of using alt tag in images. Now let's see next example how you can add a long paragraph text with line break feature. So let's see. First I am using some Lorem Ipsum text. So Lorem Ipsum website is a free website which gives us some random text with meaningful text. We can use it to show in our website, so our website look better with some content. So copy this, paste it inside p tag, save it, refresh page, and you can see there is long content. But suppose that if you want to break the line inside with, so there is two way. You can write a 2 paragraph tag, or there is another way also in 1 paragraph tag. Just add the line break here, adding the line break. Refresh page, you can see it comes in first line and others in second line. So in this way you can add a paragraph tag in our web page. Now let's move to other examples. Now let's see next example, which is form. How you can create a form with inputs and radio buttons in your web page. So let's create it. So adding third. Okay, wrong place. Let me delete this file. Delete it. Right click, new file. Third form.html. After that, let's add some body content. So just copy it, paste it, close this file, and remove everything from the body. So here, just adding the title. So adding h4. So there are different types of titles in your web page, starting from h1 to h6. Let me show you. But before telling about that, let me tell you, or let me show you how you can add comment in your web page. So comment is basically a text which we see in your code. You can add only comment to understand the code, but it will not run in your browser. So it will just see in your code, but it will not execute in web page. So here I'm just adding the comment. So it will not execute in the web page, but it will here to remind you something about the why you written the code, what is the usage of this code. These types of things we can use as a comment. So here I'm just giving the example h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6. All are different types of titles or heading text from big to small. So here I'm adding just content like simple registration form example. Currently, as you see, I just using HTML, so there is no design in the web page. But later to part of the tutorial, in next part, I will add CSS in these topics. So currently my motive is to complete your HTML part, not CSS. Once you get free or understand everything on HTML, then we can start working with CSS. That's why I'm not adding CSS to confuse you or to misguide you or to get bored you. So that's why I didn't add CSS right now, because I don't want to get confuse you or that. So that's why I didn't add CSS in web page right now, because I don't want to confuse you right now. So I'm just working only on HTML right now. After that, let's add form tag. So first you need to add form tag by working with form. Now let's add some labels and inputs. So first I'm adding a div for a container, then adding a label, adding PR, so it will show in a new line, giving username, then giving the input tag equal to text, save it. Now let's see how it looks. Save it. Now let's see how it looks. So back to Chrome and opening the example. Third, form.html, and you can see simple registration form example. It is showing username and the input. Now let's add some more input. So just copy it and adding password, and this time change it to password. So there are different types of inputs you can work with. Save it. Now here if you check, I can write text and you can see the text. So the example for text, and let's see the example for password. So if I write password, I can write anything, but you can't see. That is example for password input. Let me show one more example, some more example, which is age. Here I'm just adding number. Save it, refresh page, and here I can add only numbers. I can't write characters or special characters, anything. I just need to write only numbers. And you can see the option for update and decrease the value. Now let's see one more example, which is date of birth and using date. Save it, and you can see I can see a date picker for selecting the dat value. After that, let's see one more example. Adding div, and now just adding the gender. So here input type radio, giving male, here female. Refresh page. Let's add some line break mode. Now you can see gender male and female, but if you check, both are get selecting. So how you can prevent this from selecting both value? So for this you need to group this value, group this radio button. So I'm adding this name equal to gender in both, so both get group, and if you select only one value for radio button. Refresh page. Now if I select female or male, either one value can select only one value. So the example for radio button. Now let's see some more example, which is checkbox. So just copy it, paste it, adding skills. Here this time adding checkbox, skills. So here I'm just passing the array. I will tell more about array in later part when working with other data type, but for now just adding the square bracket, which means I am using as an array. So array contain multiple values instead of single value. So what I am doing, I am adding HTML, CSS, let's add some line break, JS, PHP, database, save it, refresh page, and you can see you can select multiple values when using checkbox, but in radio button you can select only one value. So that's why checkbox has a feature for array, so you can tag all the value and save in your database or any page when working with server side coding. So that is for skills and checkbox example. Now let's see more example, which is drop down value. Let's see how you can create a drop down. So for creating drop down, first adding label like country label. We are giving select. So first you need to add select tag, and inside that you need to add option, different types of option. So I am giving option like first India, then USA, then UK, then Russia, and save it. Refresh page, and you can see all the country values in drop down. So in that way you can create a form with inputs and drop downs and checkbox and radio button. So this is a simple example for so this is a simple example for form. Now let's see how you can add a button. So for adding button, first adding the div, after that adding button, submit, form, save it, refresh page, and you can see a submit button here. Let's add some line break. You can see a submit button. So currently it will not save the data in backend because we didn't work with backend right now. We are working with HTML. So but see the examples. But this is a simple example for creating a form using HTML with different kinds of inputs, and different types of inputs are there. Here you can see the example like attributes, type, radio, type, date, name, and these are all the types of attributes and their value. There are list of many values and many attributes, but these are common values and attributes which we are working with in HTML. Also let me tell one more thing. One thing which I forget, which is placeholder. So placeholder is what? It will just hint in input. If I see here, you can see a gray example which is showing as a placeholder. It will just remind you if you write something, it will just go. So it will just as a hint to adding the inputs in the placeholder value of that position in input. So this is example for the inputs and form in our HTML page. Now let's see some other example of HTML. Now let's see next example, which is list of items. How you can add a list of items in your web page. So closing this page and creating a new file, which is fourth and list item.html. So I can just copy this body tags and everything, copy it, close it, paste it, and remove everything. Now just adding a some title. So h4 list of vegetables. Now let's create a list of items using HTML. So first example is unordered list, which is UL. Let me show the example later, but first let's create the coding part. So first I add a UL tag. Inside that let's add our item. So list item li, like carrot, tomato, cabbage, and potato. Save it. Let's see how it looks in browser. So change it to fourth and list item.html, and you can see list of vegetables with their values carrot, tomato, cabbage, and potato. This way you can add a list of items in web page. Now let's see. Currently you can see the items is in bulleted format. Now let's see how you can add a number format. So for this I'm just copying this same data, change it to fruits, change with OL, and change with OL here. Now adding item apple, mango, guava, and orange. Save it, refresh page. Now here if you see the item is in list format with numbering format 1 2 3 4. So in this way you can use UL to add a bulleted item, OL to create a numbers of item. You can see both are same, but it is in bullet format, it is in number format. So in this way you can create a list of item with UL tag and OL tag. Now let's move to next example. So closing this. Now let's move to next example. Now let's move to next example. Now let's move to next example. Now let's see next example, which is different. So again creating an example. Fifth, div span.html. So div and span are popular tag in HTML. Every time working with examples web page, you need these two tags. Let me show the what is the difference between two tags. So let me show you. First, just copy this tag, pasting in page, adding the body tag, and again closing the body tag. Now let's add some div. My content inside div1. Just copy it, paste it to 3. Save it. Now back to Chrome and let's see what is actually. So fifth div span.html. So here if you see, all the contents are showing in one by one, line by line. So div tag proper complete area. If you suppose that it is taking complete whole area, not a single line. But let's see what actually happened when using span tag. Span my content inside span 1. Just copy it, paste it, 2 and 3, save it, refresh page. Let's add some BR so you can see clear. Refresh page, and you can see here all the things are in one by one. It is because of div tag. Div will take complete block of area, but span take only a single portion of area where the tag is written. Like it take only this portion of area where the tag is written. Same way for span 2 and same for span 3. So that is the difference between span tag and div tag. Div tag complete area, span tag only the text area which is required. Now move to VS Code and let's see the next example. Now let's see next example, which is how you can create a table in your web pages. So just copying this code, closing this file and getting a new file which is 6th table.html. Paste the code, remove the content. Now let's create our code for table. So for creating the table, you first need to add a table tag, table, starting with table and closing with table. Now after that you need to add a heading part, but first save it and let's see what actually happened if you write the table tag only. So back to VS Chrome, 6th table.html. You can see there is nothing when you read in the table tag, but for let's see, I am adding table head which is t head and close it. Now inside this there is also nothing happened. After that we need to add table row which is tr. It will create a row. After that we need to create a column which is table head for table heading column which is denoted by th. So here I am adding id. You can see start with table, then inside table head, then inside table tr which is table row, and inside the table column title which is th. Save it, refresh page. You can see id. Let's add some other columns. So here id is just column. Again adding name, username, then email, then adding something like action. Save it, refresh page, and you can see the values. But here you can see there is no border separation, but you can use border separation using two ways, by using HTML or by using CSS. But for now I am not using CSS, so I am using HTML way by adding border equal to 1. Save it, refresh page. Now you can see id, username, name, email and action. All are these table heading columns. After that we need to add some values like table data, so which is known as td. Here you can see table heading column which is known as th, but table data is known as td. So let's see how we can use table data. So for this first we need to add tbody, close this tbody. After that again here we need to create a table row. So row is basically a complete this part which is known as row, and inside this we need to create a columns which is data or heading. After that let's add some data like adding data td1 which is id. So here it is work with mapping, id map with 1 id map with 1 and name with map with like adding name like Rahul. So it map with name. Here username map with Rahul and email with map with rahul@gmail.com and action. So in action just adding the button, nothing else, only button. So in this way you can add data in the table and also add the button inside the table. Refresh page, you can see the data and you can see the button edit, and you can see the button edit and you can see the button edit also. Now after that, let's add some more data. So just copy it, paste it, adding some more data like Vishal, Vishal, and Vishal. Same way here 3, Aman, Aman, Aman. Save it, refresh page, and you can see all the data with their values and everything is showing inside the table. Now after this, let's see one more example which is very tricky and very useful when working with HTML tables. Suppose that if you are working with a table, but if you want to merge two columns, then how you can do this? So for this, suppose that I am not using Aman here and changing the value to super coders. Suppose that here I had only 4 data. You can see 4 data, and I want to merge the super coder name with username also. So in this case, you can add call span equal to 2. So it will take 2 columns instead of 1 column. Let me show you. You can see the name and username column merged for the super coder's value because I use the call span 2. Similar way, you can use other call span way. Let me show you. Like if you want to add multiple column merge, so you can use like all columns merged. So in that way, you need to pass the value call span and pass the total numbers of column. So here our column name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just pass it 5. Our all column will get merged. You can see all the columns will get merged in this line. Similar way, you can also do one more thing. Like I'm adding one more data. Let's copy it, paste it, and paste it. Suppose that I want to merge this ID 4 with this value. Like I want to use ID, but in both this way, in both these values. How we can do this? Like here you can see I added ID 4, but not here. I want to merge this TD data with this row. How I can do this? So for this, there is another way. We can use row span equal to 2. Save it, refresh page. You can see 4 is merged with supercoders here and supercoders here. So in this way, you can merge the row also, merge the column also in table. That is example for the merging the column. It is very cool way. Working with live data, in come with this situation, you need to merge two column, merge two row. In this way, you can use this way. In that way, you can use this way. Now here I forget to mention one more thing and forget to show you example. Let me show you a text area. I just remember the text area. Suppose that I want to add a long text. How we can do this? So for this you need to add a text area. Let me show you. Adding a div, closing the div, adding label, about you, adding the text area. So it will ask for a long text with user like message. Let me show you. Save it and go to third form.html. You can see a long text area for the message. You can use this way to add in your page. See about it. It is a long text using text area. So that is for the, I forget this to mention. Now just edit it, close this page. So our table is also done. Now let's move to our next example and next demo. Let's see. Now let's see next example, which is how you can add a link in your web pages. So let me show you. 7th link.html. So just copying this body tag copy it, paste it, body closing tag. Now adding a link tag. Suppose that I am writing a link tag, link to go to next page or other page. Save it and back to browser, and let's see 7th link.html. and if you see, there is nothing on this page of link because I didn't add any link right now. You can see it is showing as a text. Now what happened if I pass a attribute which is href? So that's why I tell there are different types of attributes and there are different types of values according to their attributes. Now here you need to pass the page name where you are going to redirect the user or moving the user to next page. So here I'm just passing it to the google.com. Save it, refresh page. Now you can see it is showing is a link. If I click on it, I go to the google.com. So that is the example for the link and how you can add a link in your website. Now back to VS Code, and now let's see next example of our page. Now let me show you a last example, which is how you can create a live example of a web page, means working with live HTML design. Suppose that you are working with a project, you have given a PhD and you need to convert into HTML and CSS as a UI, as a web page. So how you can do this? So let's get started work on that part. So closing all this file and giving the file name HTML final page.html and back to Chrome, and here I am working with this file. You can see a simple design which we need to create on the HTML. Currently you can see this contains CSS and other things also, but now I am not working with CSS. I just need to show you how you can work with HTML and create this page structure only with HTML. I will cover the designing part on the CSS, but for now let's work with only HTML. So suppose that if you're given a page and how you can start working on that. So first you need to analyze the page, analyze the image, what you need to do. So better way to understand, like in my concept, what I'm trying to understand, I am assuming this page as a grid system. What I known as grid system, everything you can see is from one by line is understand as a row. Understand this thing as a row. Like suppose that this is a line 1, understand this thing as a row. Same way here, understand this is a row and understand this is a row and also this. And inside this row, there are columns. Like first column I understand this is the image. Second column I understand this is a menu. Here same way, in second row, I understand this as a column 1 with titles and buttons. And second column as an image. Same way here, this is only one column. So I understand this is a one row inside that one column. Same way also, here I understand is a one row which contains 3 columns. So let's start working with. So how you can do this? Creating a simple page. So first adding HTML, then adding body tag, after that I need to add a row 1. So I am assuming everything row 1 as a div and everything column as a div. So first I am creating a div which is assuming as a row 1, adding the comment so understand better. Row 1, and inside this into first add image, then menus. So I suppose menu as a list of item or navigation item as a UL items. So what I am doing, first adding image, then src and adding the logo. So what I am doing, I just add the local image for right now because I don't have any logo. Adding it. After that, inside this I am adding another item which is list of item, which is UL ally what are they? About, services, portfolio, contact. So about, services, portfolio and contact. Save it. Now let's see the example. So it is HTML final page. So HTML final page .html. Currently you can see it is coming inside this or below this because it is working as a div. But later when you're working with adding with CSS, we just assume as a column. If you see in source, this is our row 1 and this is column 1 and column 2. Let me add the column also so you can understand. Column 1 and column 2. Now let's work with other part. So this is done. Work with these things, which is row and titles and image. So again, div, close this div, adding the div again, div close, also here div again, div close, adding the comment, row 2, column 1, here also column 2. After that, just adding the title. So this one is the first title. So it is in small format. I think it is H6 or S6. So what I am giving, writing H6, adding hi, my name is super coders. Hi, my name is super coders. Okay, and next line, it contains I am freelancer UI designer with a freelancing marketing background. So what I am writing, H2, hi, I am a freelancer with marketing background and specialize in full stack development. After that, there's two button. So again, I am assuming as a row, and inside this row there's two column. So again, what I am doing, row inside row, row 2a inside row 2, 4 buttons, div, again column 1, adding button, my work, after that let's talk, save it and refresh page. Here you can see the titles, text and the two buttons which is in row. Now after that you have to add an image, this one. So here to adding an image, src equal to again image 1, save it, refresh page, you can see the image. Now let's see other things on this page. So this one done, row 1 done, row 2 done, and next is row 3. What I do, so here just add a div, adding row 3, and inside this I am just adding h2, what I do, save it, refresh page, you can see what I do. After that, here our last thing, which is a row with 3 columns. So what I do, row 4 with 3 columns. So div div, and inside that again creating a div and adding the column 1, then copy it. Now copy it. So now let's create another column which is column 2. So copy it, paste it, column 2 and column 3. Now let's see what it contains. So it contains that first image, title and the paragraph text. So what I am going to image src equal to image 1, then adding title, so h3 UI UX design, then adding the p tag for the paragraph tag. Now let's copy the dummy text. So just copy it and paste it inside p tag. Save it and refresh page. You can see UI UX design, the image, title and the text. Let's copy this again, paste with column 2, paste with column 3. Refresh page. You can see UI UX design. So all the things are created using HTML. So as now you can see there is no design. It is only plain HTML text with structure. So basically we can use HTML to create only structure. We can add CSS to add the designing things. But for now only adding HTML, I created the web page structure. I hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Please like our video and please subscribe our channel. And if you have any doubt, please do comment.